Hi, readers. It's me, Nicole. Welcome to GGG Basel City Library Online Storytime. Today's adventure is presented by Shelly, Verma. We are so excited to see where she takes us, so open your ears and listen along.
Hi, I'm Shelly Verma, and I am your storyteller for the English Storytime presented to you by GGG Basel West Library. Now, since you can't come to the library, we thought we will get the stories to you. So here I am. I am in the forest, and the sun is shining, but believe me, it is freezing cold. And all I want to do is get back home, have a nice cup of hot chocolate, or maybe make myself a nice, delicious bowl of soup. But for my soup, I need a special ingredient, and that is why I'm here in the forest. And our story today is also about an extraordinary soup. Now let's do this. Maybe you can get a soup pot, a wooden spoon, or a ladle, and some ingredients that you might already have in the house. Maybe potatoes, onions, carrots, beans, whatever you can find in your refrigerator. But you will need one magic ingredient. It could be anything. It could be a block. It could be a Lego brick. It could be a ball. It could be any toy you fancy. Didn't I tell you? The soup in the story is extraordinary. So, let me begin. And I have my helper, my dog Milo, who's helping me find my magic ingredient. So this story is about three travelers who were walking through the forest, and they've been walking for a long time. So their mouths were dry, their bellies were groaning with hunger, their legs, oh my God, they were sore and they had blisters under their feet. And all they wanted was food and water and some rest, some warm place to rest. And as they were walking, they spotted a village down at the edge of the forest, and they were excited and happy, and they decided to seek help. The people in this village were by no means rich, but whatever little they had, they did not like to share, not even with their friends and relatives. So they saw these strangers walking towards their village, and they said to themselves, "Hey, let's hide all the food we have. They are strangers. We know what they want. They will come and knock on our door, and they'll ask for food, they'll ask for water, they'll ask for shelter. Let's turn them away." And that's what they did. So the travelers, they knocked on the first door, and they very politely asked, "Sir, could you please share with us a little bit of your food? Some water, a tiny little corner to stay for the night?" And the man refused, and he said, "I'm sorry, whatever little food we had, we already gave it to the visitors who came last week." And the woman who was standing behind said, "Oh, we only have one room in the house." And the visitors knew, the travelers knew they were being lied to. And so they went to the next house, and the answer was pretty much the same. The man of the house said, "Oh, you know what? We didn't have a good harvest this year. We all hardly have any food. I'm sorry. And, we don't have any place for you to stay." And the travelers knew they were being lied to again. And again, as they went to each house in the village, the answer was the same excuses. "Oh, we have too many children, too many mouths to feed. Sorry, a plague of mice destroyed the harvest this year. Sorry, we have relatives staying in the house." So the three travelers were almost about to give up and leave when one of them had an idea. And he said, "These villagers have a lot to learn. And let's play a trick on them, and let's teach them a lesson." "What sort of trick? What kind of lesson?" "Well, listen up." And he whispered the plan into their ears. And as the plan unfolded, the three travelers, they grinned from ear to ear. And as the first traveler was ready to put the plan into action, he stood there and he said in a big, booming voice so that everyone around him could hear, "Oh my God, it is such a pity that these villagers, they don't have any food. But worry not. As the night sets, we will go to the village square and we will prepare ourselves a delicious, nutritious, big pot of stone soup. Stone soup? Well, the people who were around them, they'd never heard of stone soup. That sounds interesting. How does it taste like? Oh well, the traveler said, if you would like to know, follow us. And don't forget to get a big soup pot and a wooden spoon and a little bit of firewood. Follow us. Come on. Let's go. Welcome back to our story and welcome to my kitchen. Now you remember the story, don't you, from the forest about the three travelers who wanted to teach the villagers a lesson, and the villagers were very curious about what this stone soup they were talking about. So they all marched after the travelers. They came to the village square and they set the firewood. Now we don't need the firewood because we have a stove. And then they put the pot on the firewood, they filled it up with water, and then the magic ingredient. Remember the magic ingredient that we were talking about? Now, obviously, you would have guessed it by now. It is a stone soup. So I was looking for these incredible, perfect stones. Not too big, not too small. Just the perfect size. Not too smooth, not too rough. Just the perfect texture for an extraordinary stone soup. So the three travelers, one of the traveler, he took up stones from his sachet and he put them into the boiling water in the pot. And he kept on stirring and stirring and stirring. And you know the villagers were all around him and the other travelers, and they were curious to know what the soup was about. And after some time, the first traveler, after he had stirred the soup for quite some time, he decided to do a first taste. And he took a spoonful and he sniffed it and he slurped it inside. And the other villagers, they craned their necks. They wanted to find out how the soup was. And the first traveler said, the soup is absolutely delicious, delicious. And all the villagers around them, they goggled, squealed with delight, and they clapped their hands, and they were so excited. But the first traveler said, but some might say that all it needs is a little bit of salt. Actually, a lot of salt and just a dash of pepper. No sooner had he said this, the villagers, they sent their children back home to fetch salt and pepper. And so, the salt and the pepper were added. Very important to season your soup perfectly. So he kept on stirring and stirring and stirring, and after some time, the second traveler, he went to taste the soup. He took a spoonful. And he licked his lips and he rubbed his bellies. Yes. The villagers wanted to know. Oh my God, I must say that these extraordinary stones make an amazing, delicious, extraordinary soup. It's amazing! But I would say that maybe it needs a little bit of color and texture of carrots. Maybe 1 or 2 carrots. But we don't have carrots. Just then, an old woman in the crowd, she raised her hand and she said, oh, wait. Now that I think about it, I think I might have a carrot or 2 in the house. Let me go and fetch it. So the woman, she went home and she came back with a bag full of carrots. Now, the travelers, they diced the carrots. Now you could dice your carrots too, but I'm being very lazy. I'm just gonna plop them in my soup. And they stirred and stirred and stirred, and oh my God, everybody was getting hungry. And the crowd, the news of the feast had spread to the entire village, and there was a huge crowd around them. Everybody was there. All the old people and, the young people and the parents and the children, they were all very excited, and all they wanted to do was find out how this soup tasted. So then after a while, it was the turn of the third traveler. So he bent over and he, this soup. What do I say? I suppose this is the best soup I've ever tasted. But I wish it just needs something, just a little something. I'm trying to put my head around it. Oh, it needs a little bit more of sweetness. Onions maybe? Just 1 or 2 onions? Oh, and maybe just 1 or 2 onions and, maybe some potato to give it a little body, the thickness, and a little bit of olive oil. Maybe we could add a little bit of cream. Oh, I wish we could add a little bit of cream or some milk. But what's the point in dreaming of these exotic ingredients when we don't have any? And then there were people at the back who shouted, "No, wait! I think I have some potatoes at home." "Oh, Mrs., do you think we have onions at home?" "Oh, yes, we do. I have some olive oil at home." "Oh, no problemo. And I can fetch some milk." And suddenly all these ingredients, all this food that people had hidden, magically appeared. And so there were mushrooms. It suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Then there were onions. Of course, you can dice your onions, but I said I'm being lazy, so I'm just going to put them in. But remember to remove the skin of the onions. And potatoes were peeled and diced and added to the soup. And don't forget your olive oil. And what did I miss? Oh, and the cream was added and the milk was added and the soup simmered for a long time. And finally, the first traveler, he tasted it again. And he declared, "Oh, and I hereby declare that this soup is ready. The feast is about to begin, and don't worry, we have enough for everyone in the entire village. And let me tell you something, this soup, this extraordinary soup, is even the king, even the Queen of England would die to eat the soup. It is so delicious." Feast began. So the tables were laid out in the square, the soup bowls, the spoons, the napkins were set on the table, the torches were lit, the decorations were hung. Oh, it was a festive atmosphere. And in the middle of this hustle and bustle, someone in the crowd shouted, "Well, a soup as special as this deserves something special. Let's fetch our bread and let's get our barrels of wine." And so people did that, and it was an amazing feast. And everyone agreed that they had never tasted anything like this ever before. Amazing soup, delicious, scrumptious, nutritious. Oh my God, made out of stones. And once the feast had ended, the villagers, they gathered around the travelers, and the travelers entertained them with their tales of travels and adventures. And the villagers, they shared their stories too of their life in the village. And then there was singing and dancing late into the night. Oh, I wish you were there. Oh, I wish I was there to enjoy it. Well, finally, the next morning as the sun rose, The travelers, they got ready for their departure, to move on to their journey. And the villagers, they were very thankful. Thank you for teaching us how to make this delicious stone soup. And the villagers were like, please come and visit us again. We would love to have you again. And the travelers just stood there giggling and laughing. They knew that they had played the trick. You know that they had played the trick. I know that they had played the trick. But did the villagers know? No one can say for sure. But they certainly did learn a lesson that night. And that was, when we each give a little, we can achieve a lot. And that is the story of the stone soup. And I hope you enjoyed, watching and listening to this story as much as I enjoyed telling it to you. And so, until next time, stay warm, stay healthy. Take care. Bye.
Wow, wasn't that exciting? Thank you for joining us today. Please tell your friends so they can listen in next week. We would love to see you. So post your participation photos using a hashtag or tag us on any social media. We are glad that you are here. Bye-bye.